Wow. Okay. Okay, Lawlers, welcome back to another beginner champ guide. Today we are covering off Yorick. He's an interesting champ, a lot of nuances to playing him. He's kind of like a tank. He looks that way at least, but he's actually kind of squishy and very skill shot reliant, so almost like a caster tank, if that makes sense. So if you enjoy this video and you're thinking about playing Yorick and this gives you some of the basics, I invite you to check out a new series I'm going to be trying to push onto the channel called Champs for Dummies, where basically it's going to be some very basic gameplay that kind of builds up off of the beginner guide. So if you guys kind of like what you see in the beginner guide, it kind of makes sense to you, but then you want to see a little bit more of a real full game application, you can check those out. Okay, anyway, so let's talk about Yorick's first ability here that we're going to pick up, which is his Q, Last Rites. This is essentially an auto attack enhancer and reset tool, which lets you deal a little bit more damage and gain some health. So instead of just normally auto attacking someone with his shovel and auto attack like that, you can empower it and it deals a little bit more damage and heals you for a small amount. If you are under half health, it heals you for a little bit more. So just something to consider. Again, there's a lot of little nuances to Yorick's kit like this. In general, though, as you're picking him up, you don't really need to remember all these little things. It deals extra damage and it heals you for a little bit. So how you can use it is to help capture last hits like that on minions and get that extra gold, or you can use it to hit champions and deal a little bit extra damage. So if we start trading with this guy here, we can auto attack, instantly Q, and get another auto attack off that deals a little bit more damage. So that's what the auto attack reset means. Okay? You're going to notice that as you kill minions with your Q, it's going to leave behind these little graves. Okay, this is part of Yorick's passive, which we're going to talk about now. Okay, Shepherd of Souls. So Yorick raises a grave for every 12 enemies that die near him, or when you last hit and kill someone with the Last Rites passive. Okay, so when there's 3 or more graves, you can use your Q to raise them up and summon some ghouls. So let's just do that now here. So after we use our Q, let's say on him, I can press Q, and then we're going to get 3 ghouls. Okay, you can get up to 4. These ghouls are essentially like little lane minions that you can have in your arsenal as well. Okay, they don't die unless someone kills them, so there's not a timer to them. They stay alive until they die. Alright, and there's a lot of things you can do with those guys later on in Yorick's combos that we're going to talk about. Alright. Okay, so we know the Q, we know it deals some damage, and it brings up some of these little ghouls for us to help us fight in lane. Alright, that's cool. What's next? Yorick's E, Morning Mist. Alright, this is a skill shot. This is where we get into the skill shot aspect of Yorick's kit. Okay, it's going to throw out some mist, it's going to deal a little bit of damage. It's honestly not enough. It says like, wow, 15% enemy health damage. It sounds like it's a lot. It's honestly not. It doesn't feel like that much damage. You're going to use this more for the slow. Okay, and it also marks the champion for a few seconds. And what that mark does is if you have any ghouls, they're going to attack and prioritize that enemy champ. They're going to jump at them and deal a lot of damage. So to see that combo in action, that basic E ghoul combo, let's call it that, we're going to have to get some ghouls up, and then we're going to bring them out and then throw the mist on the champion here. Okay, so let's use our Q to last hit that cannon and secure that. This guy's playing very aggressive. I gotta respect that. We need one more ghoul, right? You need at least 3 to bring them up from the grave. Missed that last hit, classic. So we're gonna have to wait for one more Q to come up here. Let's try and grab one here, and this is part of the nuance of Yorick, right? Getting these. Okay, so now that we've got our ghouls, we want to land our E. Okay, when you land at C, all these minions are going to jump to them and start prioritizing attacking them. That's Yorick's first kind of in-lane combo. Again, he's kind of like a caster, squishy fighter kind of tank later if you build it, so you really do have to play patient and around Yorick's abilities. A lot of other champs you're going to play against, they won't have skill shots, like Garen's a good example, right? Not really a skill shot champ. And you don't have to really pair all of their abilities up together to deal a good chunk of damage. If you're picking Yorick, you're kind of doing it for the uniqueness of his kit and kind of bringing up these minions from the dead, but what you're also understanding then is that if you're going to have all these extra ghouls, you have to have them up to really be able to trade effectively against an enemy champion. Riot's not going to give you, you know, the ability to still win trades, but you're not using your kit. It's not going to happen. So you're going to have to make sure you're using your ghouls properly. So we got our ghouls, we're going to throw an E out. Again, you can see they all jump on him. This is when you win trades as Yorick, okay? If you miss your E, the minions aren't going going to jump at him, you're not going to get the same kind of damage, and if you don't have ghouls up, you're probably not going to win any trade to begin with. So really play patient and around getting your ghouls and your E on champions. Okay, so what's Yorick's next basic ability? I know we've been talking a lot about his first two, but they are important to cover off. So let's just back off and let this Cho'Gath have some fun, and let's talk about our W. Okay, Dark Procession. Yorick summons a wall of spirits blocking an enemy's path, but not allies. So the wall can be attacked and disappears after 2 hits. So 2 auto attacks on the wall is going to knock it down. This is essentially a very dulled down version of, if you've played Vhagar, Vhagar's Cage. Okay, so not only can they knock it down, but the cage itself is very, very small, and the cast range is a lot smaller. Okay, so I'll just try and throw the W down here so you guys see. Let's try and cage this guy. Right, so now he's trapped in there. If he hits this twice with those 2 health bars, you'll see he can knock it down after a short while. It comes down by itself. Okay, so how do we use this W effectively? What you want to do is you want to build off of your EQ combo that we were talking about. So when you land that slow and you have some ghouls up, ideally what you're looking for is to trap them in that little baby cage and then let the ghouls keep beating them down. And at that point you can also walk up and start beating them down as well. You can join the party, okay? So let's try and get our 3 ghouls up. Let's try and land our E, and then we're going to try and put this Cho'Gath in the cage and see if we can have some fun. Okay, so here we go. Land the E. No, okay, we missed the E. Alright, that's fine. So let's wait for our E to come back off cooldown before we summon these ghouls. Again, we want the maximum amount of ghouls up before we land this combo. Okay, so let's get this combo set. Here we go. Okay, missed the E, but we're going to put him in the cage anyway. Now we're going to keep beating down. Okay, so this is how you land kind of a basic combo and you win the trade, and that's why it's kind of, again, a lot of nuances to Yorick. You got to have this E and W skill shot based ability in your kit to win trades. All right, that time we missed the E, but we landed the W and we had 4 ghouls up, so it's going to work out. But do not make the mistake, please, of just thinking you can run into an enemy, auto attack them in Q, and kind of win trades. It's probably not going to happen. Again, Yorick feels quite squishy until you actually get a lot of these parts of his kit working in unison. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so that's the basic kit that he's got with his basic abilities and the kind of the lane trading combo and how to win fights. Remember, you have to land your E and W to really have a good chance of winning those fights with ghouls. Okay, so you got to tie all that together. All right, let's talk about what we build into. Generally, Divine Surrender is going to be your go-to item. It just synergizes so well with his kit. It gives him health, it gives him ability, haste, attack damage. Okay, so you want to build into this first. In other scenarios, let's say you really want to split push hard, or you're against full squishies or no tanks, you can build Trinity Force. They're almost the same item. This one's just a little bit better against anti-tank. Okay, so we're going to build into that first. Let's just pick up a few of the key items here, and we'll TP back to lane. I like to run TP with Yorick as opposed to Ignite, just because you are pretty much a split pusher, and what that means is you kind of want to target turrets as your kills, not really champions. Okay, turrets is really what you're going for. Okay, so before we learn our ult, let's summon these ghouls up here in a second, and let's try and land our combo. So there's the E. We missed it. Missed the cage. Okay, so I might be able to kill him here just because I'm ahead in level, but I'm going to back off to show you guys. If you miss those 2, you back out. You don't keep fighting. You're in a very weak spot. Okay, so what that means now is he's going to kill the ghouls. If he does, we got to wait for more. If he doesn't, we can maybe try and land this combo again. So here we go. There's a few ghouls up. Let's put him in the cage if we can. Miss the cage. We still have some ghouls, and we're ahead, so now we can keep fighting. Right? You got the ghouls. We can keep going. Maybe land 1 Q. Maybe not. We'll let him get out. We could flash Q that, but we'll let him get out for now. Okay, so when you get someone out of lane like that, you want to make sure you push hard. Again, Yorick's identity and where he's strong is split pushing, because you have the ability to summon all these extra lane minions in the form of ghouls. So you want to make sure you're using ghouls to push towers and get plates. I'm running Demolish in my runes here. I would highly recommend you do the same thing, because again, instead of really farming champion kills, what you're going to be doing with Yorick, and especially if you're in the top lane, is you're going to be farming plates and turrets for your gold, and that's how you're going to get ahead. Okay, with Demolish and your minions, you're going to be able to really push towers, and your Q works on towers as well to deal more damage. So make sure you're using your Q to hit the towers like this. Okay, you get a lot of plates. 2 plates are essentially worth the full kill. So make sure you go for those. Alright, we've covered off, I think, most of the general scenarios, so let's now talk about our ultimate. This is, again, another very nuanced part of playing Yorick that you guys should have a lot of fun with learning. So this is basically, a lot of people just call this the maiden, okay? He summons a very large maiden of the mist and a couple of mist walkers with it, okay? So let's summon that maiden right now so you guys can see. Right? So 2 Mistwalkers come with it and the maiden. Now, she's going to follow you around, but kind of at a delayed pace. So how I would treat this is almost like pretend you have a very noob player on your team. This is what this Mist Maiden is, okay? So she's going to follow you around, but she takes a little bit of time to do it. She kind of lags around, okay? So make sure you kind of take care of her. Don't let her walk into situations where she's just going to die, because your mist is on a very long cooldown. What she essentially does is she helps you attack champions and minions that you're attacking. Again, this helps you push waves and maybe win trades against champions a little bit better. Okay. The other thing she does is anytime you kill a minion now, you're going to spawn another ghoul without having to kind of get that 4 stack up. Okay. So you're going to be able to push lanes really easily like you do here, and then she's also going to help you hit turrets. So you're going to see here she's going to start to like suck the life out of this turret. Now what you need to watch out for, see how the turret's attacking her? It's very easy to let the Maiden of the Mist die if you don't control where she walks around, right? She's going to follow you, so make sure you walk back if she starts taking turret aggro or if a champ's going to try and kill her, okay? The way you have to understand the turret aggro with the Maiden is she's essentially a cannon minion. So if there's no cannon minion in the wave, the turret prioritizes the largest minion to kill first. So if there's no cannon, it's going to come for your Maiden. So make sure you kind of keep that in mind and take care to not let the Maiden die. Again, you ideally want her up with you at all times, so it's like a 2v1 in lane. If the champion decides to engage and trade on you, you have this Maiden to help you win. When she comes back to the base and you recall, she heals up just like you, so keep that in mind. Okay, we got the Divine Surrender, which is perfect. You can build into whatever kind of boots you want for the scenario that you're in. So let's go back to lane now, and what we're going to try and do is we're going to land our EW combo, but with the Maiden now. You're going to see it deals a lot of damage, because again, if we can trap them and have our ghouls attack them with the Maiden, we're going to deal a huge amount of damage and win those trades. Max your Q out first as your basic ability if you can. You can see we're doing it here. Now we've picked up a bunch of levels, so that's fine. You're going to max out your E as your second. Okay, you really just need 1 point of W early on to get that cage effect. Okay, so we're going to kill a few of these minions. When you have a few ghouls, you're going to try and land your E. You landed it, you're going to walk up and land your W if you can to trap, and then you're going to just start auto-attacking with your Qs. Okay, and the Maiden's going to start sucking out. And again, see that Maiden? She's running in. You got to control her. That's why I'm running all the way back here. Try and get her back to me and behind me. I want her behind me until we really start a trade, okay? So again, our E and W is off cooldown now, so we're going to look to land that combo on this Cho'Gath if we can. Okay, perfect. E right into him. The minions are going to jump onto him. They might be able to kill him. Almost, okay? So hopefully that makes sense from a very basic play. Again, you can see I'm walking the Maiden back, so I'm in front of her and kind of the one that's going to dictate how the fights go, and then we're just going to keep pushing lanes. Again, we're split pusher, so we're farming turrets. That's really what I'm after. I'm not even after really killing this Cho'Gath. I'm after farming these turrets. Okay, so we have a cannon in this wave. That means that the turret's going to prioritize that first before the Maiden, so we can beat this down a little bit. As soon as this starts to go, watch what happens. It's going to start to attack the Maiden. Okay, oh, sorry. If we have ghouls, it's going to attack the ghouls first. So how do I get that Maiden out? You just start walking back. Walk away from the turret, and don't walk back into it unless you have some ghouls or a cannon. Okay, so just be careful of that. Alright, so we're going to walk back out a little bit here. We're going to wait for this Cho'Gath to come back, and then we're going to try and land our EQ combo, okay? Now, with the Maiden, if you have no ghouls, you could still land an E-W combo and deal some damage with the Maiden on him. It's just better if you have ghouls. You can see we're winning this trade here. He's stuck. We have the Maiden helping us, right? But just try and make sure, again, you maximize your kit. Use every part of it. Get your ghouls up, okay? Good Yorick players are differentiated from maybe mid or bad bad Yorick players by how well they land their skill shots, their E and Ws, and how well they manage their maiden. That's really the two big things you have to start to do well if you want to win your lanes with Yorick. Okay, once you do that, then you can push hard and take and farm a lot of towers. You can see here we have a few ghouls still behind us, so the turret's going to prioritize those couple of ghouls that we have. But once those ghouls are gone, it's coming for the maiden. If you're not quick enough, she's gonna die. Okay, so make sure you start to back off early, and what you can do is if you get a successful push like that, you take half a tower or maybe a full tower, just go back to base, recall, let your maiden heal all the way back up, buy some items. If you're farming turrets like you should, you're gonna have a lot of gold, right? So here we can pick up some plated steel caps or mercury treads. It's recommending that this is good against some of the players in this game, so I'll pick up the Merc Treads. And then you have some ability to itemize now as Yorick, which is another great aspect of this champion. He's very diverse in what you can build and still be successful in. Okay, so look at the team comp, look at what the shop recommends and what's good against who. Generally, for me, I love going Titanic Hydra just because I like to be able to clear waves out faster and deal more damage and have more health. But for the sake of this game, we'll just build into this Dead Man's Plate. Again, these are all good options on Yorick. This is when you start to get a little bit tankier and you can actually soak up some damage. But before that, just be careful, you're kind of squishy. So here we're going to cage him if we can, we're going to land the E if we can and slow him, and if you really want to, you can flash and land some autos and some Qs and try and pick up kills like that. Okay, so guys, I hope this gives you a good intro into Yorick. Like I said, please check out the soon-to-be posted Yorick for Dummies that I'll make, where I'm going to basically try and play a very basic style of gameplay and commentary with him so you guys understand maybe how to play him a little bit better, taking what you learned from this guide. So if you like this, you know, drop a like, let me know that this was a good explanation of Yorick, because I know he is a very hard champion to learn and understand, and even some of the other guides that are out there. And then subscribe so you don't miss the upcoming video where we're going to talk about some basic gameplay with him. Alright, so hope you enjoyed. You'll see we're already breaking down at 18 minutes some of these here. You guys will have the same in your games if you play it properly. You have a really good time pushing with him and having some fun with your ghouls. Alright, lollers, I'll catch you in the next one.